Okay, check. Alright, I'm gonna quickly explain what I did for the multiplayer aspect for the Elemental Nexus website, and here I am showing you how I made the server.js. Before that, I'm gonna quickly open up what the project is looking like right now. So here you can see on the website, we can see two players playing against each other. There is one player who has earth, paper, fire, fire, magic, darkness, magic, and the other player has magic, lightning, lightning, plasma, earth, rock, lightning. So clearly these two players are player one and player two. And what is essentially happening in the background is there's a server that is communicating two of these players with each other so that they can play a duel. So you can see when I play a card from this one, it's waiting for this player to do something. And then once I play something, I play the plasma, which is a trump card. So by default, this player wins against this one. So that what that is doing is that this player has 6 cards left and this card has 7, so the game rule still applies, and meaning that we have actually made a way to play the Elemental Nexus online. And to do that, we needed to make a server through JavaScript. And before we do that, the thing that we use to make that possible is socket.on, which I was able to download, and you do that by just typing in npm install and then put in socket. Let's see, so put it as npm install express socket.io. That makes sure that it does it fairly quickly, and then to run it, just do another bash of node server.js, so that it knows what to take the socket out of. And quickly, for the code for the server.js, which is making all of this possible, is again to let the server know what are the elements that are in the game, so that it recognizes and also goes back to game.js to make sure that the identities are unique and are able to communicate with the game logic. So yeah, again, connection, we have a connection port which is listening, so every time there's something happening, you can see, just like I just played. If you can see my cursor right here, I said I played earth and plasma, and this is what the backend is looking like. And if you see here, there are a bunch of codes that are making sure that the game lobby exists. So before the game is started, if you just have 2 players, then it automatically is waiting for 2 local hosts, and then once 2 players are in a browser, then they are able to communicate automatically. That's what this is about. And again, the init hand gives the random number of cards to the players. It goes back to game.js to make sure that all of those game ideas are still making sense. And so initial hand, and since the game is the way of playing the game is both of you need to choose a card, so it really doesn't matter if it's the player 1 or player 2, but it's very important to keep the player's hand length intact, because that's how we figure out if the game is over or not. So it's a bunch of codes which is making that possible, and once we go through those ones, it does have a waiting opponent code. What I want to add is to make a timer, so that if a player is not playing a card, then he's disqualified, otherwise the game is just going to be stuck. So that's something that I can add on, and again, game logic here to have all of the things working. And it seemed like the last code that I was talking about, which makes the game logic work. And there is also a code to handle the disconnect of hand, to print an error, and also to make sure that the game is stopped if a player is disconnected. And here is the error message, or the win lose message that you get once that is done. And here are the server utility functions with all the game mechanics. It's basically copy and paste from the game.js, and all of the rules still apply the same for server.js. And that is all for this video. And there are a lot of things that I really want to add on, but I'm really excited that this did work, and there's a way for this to work as the Elemental Nexus. So I'm just gonna quickly finish this game so that I can just show the logic behind the game. So player 2 is winning much better. Yeah, so player 2 won by 5 cards, and then so game over, you lose, and player 2 gets game over, you win.